Hello everyone and welcome to another video that literally nobody asked for. 25 predictions for Jurassic World Dominion. Or as I've arranged it, Dominion Bingo. Why? Because I'm old and also I just like how it sounds. Dominion Bingo. I'm old and I'm simple, okay? Those are the two reasons. Do I really need more? For more videos that you didn't ask for but might very well enjoy about Jurassic World Dominion and Dinosaur games, check out the channel and hit the subscribe button if you like what you see, ring the bell, and we'll be back in a year and a half to see if I scored a bingo. Do you score a bingo? Do you get a bingo? Do you bingoed? Binwent? Okay, so maybe I'm not actually that old, I don't actually play bingo, but I am that simple, obviously. Now, a year and a half until the movie releases, that's a long time. We all agree on this. We all bemoaned this when the delay to 2022 was announced. The reason I'm doing this video now, a year and a half in advance, is because spoilers are, much like Thanos, inevitable. And the point of these predictions is that they have not already been spoiled. Otherwise, it's not a prediction, it's just me stating things that we already know. Of course, predictions can be based on spoilers, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your spoiler warning for this video. There are going to be some Dominion spoilers in this Dominion bingo. As an example, here's my first prediction. Rexy is going to fight the Giga. We already know that the Giga is going to be in the movie, spoiler courtesy of our favorite dinosaur man who can't pronounce dinosaur names, Sam Neill. Not to be mistaken with your favorite dinosaur woman who can't pronounce dinosaur names, me. Archaeornithomimus? Dracorex or Dracorex? Compsognathus. Compsognathus. The spoiler is the Giga is going to be in the movie. We already know this. But my prediction specifically is that we are going to see the Giga fight our beloved Rexy. Other prediction, we're just gonna get started right now, is that Alan and Ellie have already been together before the start of the movie. From leaked set photos, we know they smooch or exchange cooties, if you will, if you are of that age. If you are, please leave, this is not for you. But I am predicting that they are not getting back together over the course of the movie, but instead have been a couple for a while before the events of Dominion take place. Because if this franchise is going to repeat the getting back together story arc for a fourth time in a row, I'm gonna disconnect from the Matrix because it's just no good anymore. And I'm doubling down on this prediction by also betting that their relationship is going to be treated as a minor plot twist. I'm using that term very loosely here, but let's just go with it. Plot twist. Like, we see the two of them for a little bit at the start of the movie, and it just appears that they are friends or something, and everyone assumes that they are just friends, and then it's gonna be like, surprise, we're a couple. And Ian will probably say something cringy like, see, I told you, life finds a way. I don't do impressions, I'm so sorry. Which also takes me to my third prediction, which is not based on a spoiler, but just based on how desperately Colin Trevorrow wants you to remember how much you love the original Jurassic Park. I think one of the original three, so either Ian, Alan, or Ellie, is going to repeat a direct quote from the first movie. Jurassic World was absolutely littered with callbacks to the OG Jurassic Park, and Fallen Kingdom is guilty of this as well, and I think they are going to do that again. So Alan might have some trouble with a computer and say... You've got it in for me. Or Ian might say...
That is one big pile of shit.
Or Ellie might say...
I think we're back in business.
Or... Now, continuing along with what we might as well call fan service, I'm going to make the following predictions. The Dilophosaurus will appear, and I really do hope so. I really hope I'm right on this one. The Spinosaurus will appear, and possibly, although I'm not putting down any money on this, but possibly the exact Spino from JP3, and we'll talk about that more later on in the video. And the Battle at Big Rock type of Allo will appear. Also, feathered dinosaurs will finally be included in the franchise, although I'm betting their screen time will be minimal. Dennis Nedry is going to be talked about. We know Dodgson is going to be in the movie, and I'm betting that he will mention Dennis Nedry by name and talk about that deal Bison made with him that went, you know, like slightly wrong, slightly not according to plan. Next prediction, Owen and Alan are going to talk about raptors, and I think specifically Owen is going to teach Alan something about raptors that he didn't know, something behavioral, and Alan is then going to teach something Owen didn't know about their biology or, you know, the paleontological aspect of it or something. And speaking of Alan and raptors, I think Blue is going to save Alan at some point. He's going to be distrustful of her when they first meet, and, you know, as he should be, but she's going to save him from some other dinosaur, which leads him to trust not just Blue, but Owen as well, because Alan probably thinks Owen is a little crazy at first. Next prediction, none of the core 6 characters is going to die, and these 6 are Owen, Claire, Maisie, Ian, Alan, and Ellie. There is some fear that Dominion is going to pull a Force Awakens and kill one of the old guard, but I don't think this movie franchise, these creators have the guts for it. And that's not really so much shitting on this second trilogy, it's just a thing overall. This franchise has never really killed, like, the big protagonists. With the exception of Eddie. Well, was Eddie like a big protagonist? I don't think so. But, you know, Eddie is one of the few exceptions to this rule. Pretty much everyone else who gets killed in this franchise, the movie lays down some groundwork in terms of getting the viewer, the audience, to not really connect with them, to not really like them. Like Zara, they made her kind of whiny about not letting her fiancé have his bachelor party. You know, stuff like that. They kind of like sneakily try to influence you into not caring about the characters who die. Again, except Eddie. Rest in peace, Eddie. You are a true hero. All of that being said, that being that I don't think the main 6 characters are going to die, I do think that there is going to be a fake out death. One of the characters is going to be presumed dead, and it's going to be mourned, and it's going to be sad, but it'll be revealed later on that they actually survived after all, and all of those emotions were absolutely worthless. The reason I think this is because they want the big emotional impact of a beloved character death, but they don't want the consequences of that. The only death that I think will happen in this movie is Rexy dying. I'm not convinced of this one, and it's definitely not something I want to see happen. Let me clarify that. I don't want to see her die, but I think this is going to be their emotional ace in the hole. What might happen is maybe she fights with the Giga and she wins, but she ends up succumbing to her wounds afterwards, and she is mourned as like the anti-hero that she's been since 1993. They'll probably also mention that she's old and not expected to live much longer anyway, based on, you know, the genetic meddling that has been going on. And that'll be intended to sort of cushion the blow. Like, she wouldn't have lived that much longer anyway. Be sad, but not too sad that, you know, she came to a heroic end. I think that's the route they're going to take. Like I said, I'm not convinced about this one. I'm not, like, 100% convinced about any of these, of course. But this particular one, you know, well, because of the guts thing, I guess. It would be pretty bold if they do this, but I think in this specific regard, they might dare to pull the trigger. Let me know in a comment what you guys think. Do you think they are going to kill Rexy or not? As for Blue, I'm pretty sure that she is going to survive, and to ensure that she's not going to kill any more people, and to avoid acknowledging that she's a dangerous predator and has killed colleagues of Claire and Owen in Jurassic World, they are going to stick her on Sorna by the end of the movie to live out her days away from people, and to continue pretending that she's this nice puppy dog and sell toys from her. I guess this also then automatically includes the prediction that Sorna is going to be in the movie, but based on some photos we've seen, I feel like Sorna is like just a hair's width away from being confirmed. Looking at these environments, they're very reminiscent of what we know from Sorna, at least from the Lost World Jurassic Park. It had that really distinctive look to it, and this feels very familiar to that. There is an interesting, unofficial, kind of red herring theory going on that the reason Sanctuary was used instead of Sorna is because Spino on steroids from Sorna has more or less decimated the ecosystem on the island, so it would be no good to bring the dinosaurs there, and that's why Sanctuary was introduced in Fallen Kingdom. Maybe, and this is not one of the 25, just me speculating, but maybe they are going to go to Sorna in Dominion because they need a place to exile all the dinosaurs to, but they gotta first check if Dwayne the Spino Johnson is still a problem. Side note, I think Sanctuary might have never been a real place, but even if it is, the whole reputation is kinda sus now, which is why I don't think they're gonna bring the dinosaurs there when they round them up. Okay, moving along with my actual predictions, side tangent over. Biosyn is going to be the villain. And you might think, okay, this is not much of a prediction, is it? I mean, Bison was the villain in the first movie. But what I'm saying is Bison is going to be the villain, but they're going to be pretending to be the good guys. And yes, that is pretty much exactly what happened in Fallen Kingdom, but I think they are going to microwave that day-old pizza and sell it to us as new. Why do I think this? We've seen on-set photos of a Biosyn plane and Biosyn jeeps along with our main cast, our heroes. I think this means the protagonists are working together with Biosyn, possibly in an attempt to capture escaped dinosaurs and hunt down illegal labs that are producing them. I think Biosyn is going to be putting up a front of being the good guys, while really what they are doing is getting rid of the competition. And our lead characters are going to uncover this and be, oh, shocked, and then of course stop them in the end. And in that way, Biosyn becomes the evil mustache-twirling villain instead of Dr. Wu, who I think is going to have a bit of a redemption arc. In on-set photos, he looks like he's in a doghouse. I think at this point, he has come to regret what he has done. He wanted to play God, but he has no control over his creations, which he has come to realize, and that shatters his self-image and is going to drive him to help the heroes save the day. As a reward for his good deed, he'll be killed. I just don't think this is the kind of franchise that can keep its villains alive. It's always been pretty simple, for the most part at least. The bad guys die. Dodgson and Roland Tembo, I think, might have been the sole exceptions so far, but you could argue neither of them were really villainous. Like Dodgson, he had no idea of knowing how Nedry would go about the theft and what that would lead to, so he's more of a crook and not a villain worthy of the word. And Roland Tembo, well, he's a hunter, you can disagree with that, but he's not actually portrayed as a bad guy. He cares for Sarah. He does the right thing in the end by distancing himself from InGen, so, debatable. Yet, I don't think Dominion knows how to handle really redeeming someone like Dr. Wu, whom they've basically framed as the man who made the most dangerous discovery of all time. For that reason, I predict they'll want a clean end and just kill him off. But not before Ian gives him the most epic "I told you so" of all time. I also predict we are going to see some mismade dinosaurs. The genetic code has fallen into the hands of people not as skilled as Dr. Wu and his team, and as a result, I think we're going to see some faulty dinosaurs. Whether that's going to be in the form of unviable embryos, calling back to that scene in JP3, or actual alive dinosaurs, I don't know. There aren't going to be any hybrids, of course, that was already confirmed, but more like, for example, dinosaurs that are weak or sick. Another dinosaur that I predict will have been made is the Velociraptor. I don't think they are going to leave Blue as the last Velociraptor. By the end of the movie, she might even become the alpha of a new pack of raptors. Because the raptors are too important to the franchise to have yet another movie where Blue is the only one. And also, probably most importantly, because I think they want to give Blue a happy ending. Because she's such a fan favorite. And it's going to be too bittersweet to leave her as the last of her kind. It would also just be a nice character arc for her, quote unquote, for her to first be the beta to Owen's alpha, which sounds oddly sexual and I don't want to get into that. But then later she evolves from the beta to the alpha of her own pack. Next prediction, just a quick one. I think the word Dominion will be used in the movie. Just a hunch. The final prediction that is my own, as the last 5 predictions are actually from my subscribers, I think there will be a plane crash in this movie. 3 reasons for that. First and foremost, it is hypothesized that one of the new characters that we see with Owen in one of the behind the scenes photos is a pilot. She's also one of the new main characters, by the way. She's on the poster. Her outfit looks like she might possibly be a pilot. Secondly, as I've said before, this franchise just cannot resist callbacks. They cannot leave it alone. So I think it'll be a callback to the plane crash in JP3. And thirdly, this franchise just loves crashing things. Like, apparently dinosaurs aren't wow enough. They want to see some crashing action. Nedry's jeep, a boat, a bus, another boat, an airplane, a helicopter, an Indoraptor. I think a bigger plane crash than the one from JP3 is going to be the next step. So for these final 5 predictions, I actually asked my subscribers what their predictions were for Jurassic World Dominion. Because I had this idea of Dominion bingo, so I needed 25 predictions, but I could only come up with 20 because I'm an underachiever, and well, here we are. A lot of predictions came in, and I really loved that because I love speculating about this franchise, but I had to narrow it down to 5. So I picked 5 that I can see happening, and that I also think are just pretty interesting ideas. So here are the 5 predictions that were made by subscribers. Cenozoic creatures, a prediction from Nita Kuskar. I've already seen the spoiler of another non-dinosaur having made it into the movie, so it's really not that much of a stretch to think they are going to add some popular Cenozoic era creatures. It also opens up a whole new revenue for toys. Dinosaurs and humans coexist from PandaGamer 45632. I do think a lot of dinosaurs are going to be brought over to Sorna, but they probably won't be able to move all of them over to the island, and in the end we'll probably see some dinosaurs still thriving on the mainland. Guillermo Marquez predicted a stranded mosasaur. I don't think we'll see a submarine attack, as was also predicted in their comments, but it was introduced in Jurassic World that the Mosa hunts creatures at the shoreline, as it also demonstrated by attacking the Indominus, so this situation is reminiscent of the fate of the Lipleurodon in Walking with Dinosaurs, which also got beached. Perhaps the Mosa beaches itself trying to attack some sunbathing humans, and it gets stuck and dies. It would be a very tragic ending. I think they would bring it as something bittersweet. Like, yes, it's a dangerous creature, but it's also sad that something so big and majestic is perishing. But the Mosa, I think, is one of those creatures that probably can't be kept alive. It's just too dangerous, and there's nowhere else for it to go. Maisie getting kidnapped is predicted by Siddhartha Araja, and I think this is a super interesting idea. As presumably at least the only human clone, she must be very valuable. So I can totally see other people trying to get her to reverse engineer the human cloning procedure. I'm not sure if Biosyn is the culprit, but I do really like this idea. Final prediction, courtesy of CAW, an open ending. They made a lot of predictions in their post, but I'm really latching onto what they hinted at the end of their comment. It's not like I'm expecting it to be a cliffhanger. I think all of the human story arcs, if you can even call them that, honestly, I think all the human story arcs will be wrapped up, but they will leave things open for sequels or for spin-offs, for anything to expand the franchise on, because this is the golden goose, okay? The golden goose is gonna have to keep laying those golden eggs. But for example, they'll probably be showing dinosaurs still living on the mainland by the end of the movie. That concludes 25 predictions for Jurassic World Dominion. We'll check back on this video a year and a half from now to see which were correct. If you don't want to miss out on that, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, all that jazz, and you can come back in a year and a half and tell me, see, you were so wrong. Leave a comment and let me know if you think I will get bingo with these predictions. Let me know which ones you agree with, which ones you disagree with, and please share your own predictions down below to make me feel stupid about not including those myself. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay safe.